Hi there, Natasha here, Realtor in beautiful Charleston with a quick market update. We are halfway through the year, so what is going on in the housing market? I have my trusty notes so that we can stay on track together. It's a weird market right now, and I think we're using that term a lot. You'll hear other realtors use that term. We're seeing still like some properties that are in multiple offers, and then we're seeing some properties that are sitting on the market for months with just a handful of showings. So what is really going on? Let's dive into that a little bit together. So there are fewer buyers in the market, and that's putting pressure on existing listings, and either sellers are going to have to lower their price or make more concessions. So nationwide, we're seeing this pressure on the market because mostly interest rates, those are high, and there is still a pretty significant level of consumer uncertainty, which is preventing buyers from coming to the market. So because of this, we are starting to see some price relief as inventory levels are starting to normalize. And again, you've heard me use the word normalize. We're moving from a seller's market to a buyer's market, but we're not quite there yet. But we are starting to see more normal levels of inventory. Something that's also great to note is if you are considering getting into the market, you might want to consider new construction. I love new construction for my clients because the home comes with a warranty. It is new, no one's ever lived in there before. You get to really personalize the space for yourself. And I know it's not a fit for everybody, but if you're getting into the game and you want kind of like a lower maintenance lifestyle, it might make sense to think of new construction. And what we're seeing is that the inventory of newly built homes is also continuing to rise. So builders are offering more incentives than they have in years past. They might be offering what's called a rate buy down if you use their lender to get lower interest rates than you might see in the normal market with a resale home. So don't completely write off new construction. I personally love it. And there are ways to get creative and negotiate maybe a better deal for you than you could have had you gone with a resale home and an independent buyer. At the end of the day, builders are in the business of selling homes, and most of the companies are for profit, so they're trying to make shareholders happy. They're not emotionally attached to the home like a seller would be. They're just trying to get the home sold because it is just a data point that they have to deliver on. So something to think about. I used to sell new construction and I, again, love it. So I'm happy to talk to you more about that. Okay, so what are we thinking will happen for the rest of the year? Of course, we don't have a crystal ball, but I do like to have an understanding of what might happen. I listen to a lot of leading economists and people in the industry that can potentially forecast what we think will happen. Anything is possible, but here's what we're looking at right now. So we don't see a significant price decline happening this year. What we do expect to happen is what has already started to happen, which is the rate of appreciation starts to slow. So forecasters nationally predicted that home values would rise 3 to 4% this year. That now has kind of tamped back a little bit, and they're thinking maybe 2% nationally will see home values rise. So the rate of appreciation is starting to slow. We also don't expect big drops in mortgage interest rates this year. They are expected to stay in the mid 6% range. Of course, that's going to be different for everybody depending on what your income looks like, what your debt looks like, and what your credit looks like. So, but on average, we're expecting the interest rates to stay in the kind of mid 6% range. Anything can happen that could change that quickly, but by and large, that's what we're expecting. I would love to see interest rates come down a little bit. I think that would change our weird market to get more folks in the game. We're hopeful, but it doesn't seem likely at this stage of the year. So in terms of what that means for you, I think it's really important to know that it is a good time to buy because the competition is really low. So you can get incentives from builders. You might be able to negotiate more repairs with the seller. You might be able to get more of a credit or a reduction on the home price than you would have in years past. If you're a seller, what this means is you have to have staying power. And now more than ever, I can't say it enough, price is so important. We're seeing where listings shot for the moon and then now they're chasing the market down, and these listings are going stale or dying on the market. So it's really important to look at the past in terms of what sold in your neighborhood to value your home, but also look at the current market. What's the demand? What is the competition with other listings on the market? Do those homes look like yours? Does yours need to be more updated? Or is yours, more improved than theirs? So these are things that a real estate professional can help you understand. And it's important to know that price is part of your marketing strategy. And I think we forget that sometimes. So if you have questions about selling your home or what it's like to be a buyer in the Charleston area, I've got you covered. Please send me a comment or follow. I would love to make the connection. Thank you so much for watching. And here we go for the next 6 months of the year. Let's do it.